In every house I will enter for good. In every field I will do only good. By every river I will turn my hand toward good. This is a promise I will keep. This is a promise I will keep. This is a promise I will keep. I will turn my hand toward good. This is a promise I will keep. And if I am asked to turn my hand toward harm, toward hate, and if I am asked to turn my thoughts toward harm, toward hate, and if I am asked to turn my life toward harm, toward hate, I would refuse. This is a promise I will keep. This is a promise I will keep. I will turn my hand toward good. This is a promise I will keep. For all of the dreams of the children, daughters of the sons of daughters, for all their dreams, for all of the hopes of the children, daughters of the sons of daughters, for all their hopes, for all of the promises
Morning. So nice to see you all here. Thank you for coming together on what so far is a beautiful Sunday. We'll hope that it doesn't get to 180 out there. We come together in an idea of mutuality, one where we don't have to think alike to believe that love is primary, to try to walk in reverence for life and other people, and to treat respectfully those with differing paths and opinions. So, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us in that mutuality, you are always welcome. We start the services off with a little bit of information, trying to disseminate what's going on and keep everybody a bit informed. We use as many avenues as we can to do that, and we have a board person this morning, our treasurer, Rebecca Tuggle, to give you some information.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so our volunteer of the month for July is Dawn Subasic, who is in the building. She's just not in here right this minute. Dawn does a whole lot with All Souls, and not just All Souls. She's also doing mutual aid. She does a lot with the Highland Blessing Dinners, and of course, Building and Grounds. She shows up almost as often as Eric does, but I don't think anybody shows up as often as Eric does. Our giveaway the plate this month is North Louisiana Interfaith. And North Louisiana Interfaith is a combination of several faith groups across the city and the area who do a lot of things, especially with regards to social justice legislation, these kinds of things. And we tend to be a partner with them, and so we donate quite a bit to them. So please give generously. We have the baskets stationed back there at the entry to the sanctuary to give your pledges as well as any donations that you wish to make, which are always accepted and always welcome, so thank you. Also, we have Zoom lunch on Tuesdays that goes on here in person as well as online, so you can always check that out. There's always more in the emails that Susan sends every week to let you know what's happening and what's going on. One thing to note, the lunch bunch, which has gotten started back, and I believe that Bob Jordan did spearhead that, but I was asked to announce that anyone who wishes to, after the service today, the lunch bunch is going to meet at Jason's Deli on Line Avenue, and so if you are interested in doing that, please join them. They would love to have you there. I believe that is everything that I have, so thank you very much.
Hey, good morning. Just a couple of things. I'm Susan Caldwell. I'm the Director of Religious Education, and I had put out information on the upcoming Alternatives to Violence Project workshop, which will be facilitated by Kathy Osech and Susan Yellett and Bob Jordan. And everything I sent out was correct, except the dates. Because it has been moved to August 18th to the 20th. If you have registered at that link already, and I haven't had a chance to check it in the last day or so, your registration will count for those dates. Let us know if you are still available on those dates, but it's going to be August 18th through the 20th, and I'm determined to get all of that corrected online and send out a new email this evening. But I did want to let you know that. Oh, and I also, Rebecca mentioned the donation baskets at the back. Someone asked me this morning, and we really need to clarify, if you're giving cash, they're the little green envelopes, and so you can put the cash in the envelope. I mean, if you just want to give cash to the church, that's great. Just throw it in the basket. We will absolutely accept it. But if you want to denote whether it's for your pledge or whether it's for give away the plate, put it in the envelope and just make a note that that's what it's for. And happy to see some faces today. All right. Anyway, thank you. I think that's it.
I don't have the date lockdown yet, but I want you to start thinking about Artist Sunday, and if you have some visual art or a talent, performing talent that you would like to share with us, I hope you'll let me know so I can start putting a list together. We sort of specifically choreographed that service so that we can get more people in to do stuff, sing songs and everything, move it as smoothly as possible, because once upon a time those services got really long. And we want to have as many things as we can without it being an inordinately extended service. So, but I need to start planning that way. And if you have visual arts, we will display them and stuff. That will be before September sometime, I think. Yeah, we will know the date by next week, but if you have a talent that you'd like to share, please let me know. Also, the weekend, and this is down the road, but I want you to be able to plan ahead. The weekend of October 20th through the 22nd, we are planning a joint retreat in Baton Rouge with the Baton Rouge Unitarian Church, and we are going to flesh out those plans, try to include some stuff about reducing stress, there may be a performance by a delightful entertainer that weekend. I don't know for sure yet, but that's something they're planning towards. Having meals together and just some easy time with people from Baton Rouge. They are going to provide home hospitality, so we don't have to get hotel rooms. We will be trying to do meals together so that we actually spend time getting to know other Unitarians besides just us, and can feel more a part of a larger movement. We are still discussing whether we will extend that invitation to the churches in New Orleans area. Also, some of it I'm sure will be contingent on how many of us want to go and how many houses they can have to provide home hospitality. Anyway, so I hope you will look at your calendar down the road and start to let me know if you're interested in going. I would really like, I don't know that we can afford it, but I would really like for us to rent a little bus or van or something and travel together if possible. I think that would be really good for us to have that time together without all the distractions we usually come up with. Anyway, please put that on your screen as something to think about. And now that we've gone through all of that stuff, how about taking a couple of nice breaths and just relax into being where you are? Come, all of you who seek truth, abide in love and honor peace. Enter into this house with thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Come into these gates with praise. Enter into this sacred space, all of you who hunger for righteousness. Through these doors, all footsteps lead to the source of our being, where we shall be filled. For as we come together, as we congregate for holy purposes, two essences are required. First, the assemblage of the faithful, the numberless, nameless throng of seekers. And second, the ineffable presence, the numinous, that which is beyond our naming or understanding. God of our hearts, many names. We invoke both entities. We beckon to the worshiper to join the consecrated rites, and we summon the Spirit of love, the eternal God of all creation. Everything begins on the verge of awareness. The dawn is not and then is. Sleep is and then is not. In between is the awakening. The passage of thin light between breaks open the day. The passage of thin sound between flows into the day. Too soon the numbing rumble of traffic swells and the day glares. Let the soft haze hang again across the row of morning. Wait upon the narrow moment, the first awareness of being in between. Live days and seasons on the thin edge of dawn, in praise that every single thing begins now. Do we have anyone who would like to lead our first portion of our chalice lighting? I think we have a volunteer. Bless your heart.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other.
Thank you so much. In a time of uncertainty, when everything around us is changing constantly, when the world we live in seems upside down and topsy-turvy, we light our chalice to remind ourselves of our grounding in our faith. We remember that the flaming chalice came into being as a beacon of hope during World War II, a secret symbol that offered help. In the midst of it all, we wrap ourselves in the warm light of a familiar flame, a reminder of the strength that emerges when we come together in community. The chalice is for the living, the changing, the becoming. The chalice is for losing the script of your life, the chapters about who you are in other people's stories. This chalice is for the lost GPS that was supposed to show you how to get where they expected you to go. This chalice is for skipping the directions, coloring outside the lines, painting not by numbers, but by silence, by wild abandon, with a brush you made yourself from light deep inside. Startling, vivid, a new voice that already knows you. Finally, a true story. Would you rise in body or spirit and say with us the unison affirmation? It'll be on the screen if you are willing and able. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our opening hymn is Spirit of Life. Rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning again. Did everybody get a little candle at the door when you came in? If you didn't, I think the basket is out there. Bob, you want my candle? Realizing that if this were a nighttime service, this might be a more effective thing. But I want to start out by asking you, what two kinds of beings come from Transylvania? One is fictional, and one is not. Yes, I see Ava Kate's hand up there. Yeah? Did you want to answer? What comes? No? Okay. So who comes from Transylvania? What kind of beings? Vampires, right? Right. As far as we know, fictional. Yes, Ava. Frankenstein? Oh, I don't know. Good point. There might be three. Vlad the Impaler, the guy on whom Dracula was based, yeah. Okay. Who else? The Count. And who else? Francis David and King Sigismund. Yeah, Unitarians started out in Transylvania. I mean, that is where the first people who kind of call themselves Unitarians and who believed that God is one. There are Unitarian churches in it's now Romania, but what used to be Transylvania. You can go there and visit these churches. And this is a story by Janine Grossmeyer that is about the building of one of these churches. And so many years ago, in the land of Transylvania, in a mountain valley watered by quick rushing streams and shadowed by great forests of beech trees, there was a village of small wooden houses with dark shingled roofs. And the people in the village were of the Unitarian religion. And they wanted a church of their own, a church set on a hillside, they decided, looking down upon the village as a mother would look down upon her sleeping child. So all the people of the village got together, and they labored long and hard. The stonemasons hammered sharp chisels to cut great blocks of stone, and they set the stone into these wonderful, stout and sturdy walls. And the glaziers, the glass people, they came, and they made tiny glass panes to fit into the windows. And the foresters sawed these tall beech trees in order to make the pews. And they carved wood for the big doors, and they brought a bell in from another city, a big bell to ring when it was time for church. And when all of that was done, then they started to paint, not only outside, but inside, bright colors and pictures of their surrounding village, and pictures of the meadows and the rivers, and just beautiful, beautiful pictures on the walls to remind them of where they were. And everybody helped, all ages, everyone helped. And at the end of the day it was finished, when the church was finally done and everybody stood back to admire it, and they sang a song of happiness, and they said, you know what? Let's go home, get a bite to eat, maybe take a nap, because this has been kind of hard, and we're going to come back, all of us, tonight and worship together in the evening. So there was a little girl named Zora and her father who were sitting on the hill looking at the church and admiring it, and really appreciating this work that they had done over this, it was days and days. But then they went inside the church to look around, and Zora said, Father, we forgot something. He said, what? We didn't forget anything. What are you talking about? She said, there are lampstands all along the walls and up on the altar, but there are no lamps. It's going to be dark when everybody comes back. And her father said, nope, because the light of the church comes from its people. And every family has their own oil lamp that they would bring. So I would like you right now to light your little candle. There's a switch on the bottom. And just hold it up. It's still pretty nice, even in this bright sanctuary. It's nice to see. And so Zora and her father watched the people come across the meadows and come across the hills, and they saw just a trail of light as everybody brought their lamps back to the church to light up the church. And then the church was just aglow with this warm and wonderful light, and they prayed and they sang, and they were just so thankful to have this wonderful church. And when the church was over, they would take the lamps home with them, because the people bring the light. And that is true today. In these families in Transylvania, they pass the lamps down from generation to generation. And when someone married and went off and started their own family, then there was a lamp maker that made a lamp for them. And so it became a tradition. And it has passed down and passed down and passed down. And you, right now, you hold the light. You hold the light right now in your hand, but you also hold the light here. You are the ones who bring the light. And so remember that wherever we are, wherever we go in the future, the people bring the light. And thank you for doing that. And I think Reverend Barbara wants to share a song with us.
We have a responsive reading. Is it up already? Oh, okay. From Vincent B. Silliman. Let religion be for us life and joy. Let it be a voice of renewing challenge to the best we have and may be. Let it call to generous action. Let religion be to us a dissatisfaction with things that are, which bids us serve more eagerly the true and right. Let it be the sorrow that opens us the way of sympathy, understanding, and serving to suffering humanity. Excuse me. Let religion be to us the wonder and lure of that which is only partly known and understood. An eye that glories in nature's majesty and beauty, and a heart that rejoices in deeds of kindness and of courage. Let religion be to us security and serenity because it's truth and beauty and because of the enduring worth and power of the loyalties which it engenders. Let it be to us hope and purpose and a discovery of opportunities to express our best through daily tasks. Religion, uniting us with all that is admirable in human beings everywhere, holding before our eyes a prospect of the better life for humankind, which each may help to make actual. We can remain seated as we sing "We Would Be One." We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free. The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras taught that the universe was composed entirely of numbers corresponding to music. So the entire universe, all of reality, including us, was composed of numbers and music. The 7 planets of the ancient world each resonated a frequency outward into the universe. Is there an image on the screen? The image is a 19th century depiction of the Musica Universalis, or harmony of the spheres. Each planet, a different note on the musical scale. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-dun-dun. Their music was not something we heard audibly, but their cosmic vibration, their resonance, could impact us just as music could. Pythagoreans believed that music purified and nourished our souls, keeping us spiritually healthy. In the same way that exercise and nutrition do for the body. Music made us spiritually healthy the way that exercise and nutrition do the body. But it wasn't necessarily music we could hear. Okay? So I invite you to contemplate, what music do you need to purify and nourish your soul right now? Do you need a peppy tune to make you smile and dance? Perhaps you need a love ballad to help you celebrate love in your life. Or do you need a sad song to speak to you about a loss in your life? Now, remember, we're not just talking about what we think, but what would help us cleanse. What kinds of music are going to help us cleanse our own spirits? Maybe you need a dirge to help you grieve and mourn a tragedy or a loss. There are certainly plenty of those around us. Or do you need a happy song to help you celebrate an aspect of your life right now, to bring it to fruition or completion in your spirit? Do you need a cacophony of noise to rattle you into a new awareness? Are you numb and asleep? What might startle you into awakening? Or soothe you into awakening rather than sleep? You know yourself better, which is actually awakening for you. Perhaps you need a calm lullaby to bring you back to peace because you're already in internal cacophony. As we enter silence today, I invite you to consider the song that is speaking to you at this moment. Imagine it is resonating within you, but also outward in all directions, bringing your resonance to those next to you, then the people next to them, outward until it fills the room, connecting you with everyone else, communicating where you are today. And may our collective silence bring harmony to ourselves and everyone in our orbit. If you're new here, I want you to know that this candle lighting is just to mark things in your life. It's to bring presence and the idea of light and warmth and healing, or even light and celebration to something. And anyone who cares to is welcome to come light candles when we do that. This sanctuary is not the most kind for mobility, and generally at the end I will light one for everything that remains unmarked. I did not say that today, but I did that. So if you are carrying something that you would like to feel marked by these candles, know that I lit one in honor of you.
She makes me lie down in green meadows, beside the still water she will lead. She restores my soul, she rights my wrongs. She leads me in the path of good things. She fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me. I'm in her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely, surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in her house forever, forever and ever. Glory, glory be to our Mother and Daughter and to the Holy of Holies, as it was in the beginning, is now and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
A Bobby McFerrin number with the built-in tension. So we go from relaxing in silence right back into the prayer of some place that has some anxiousness in it. For some reason this week I was thinking of the Karl Marx quote about religion being the opiate of the masses, or that crossed my mind, and when it first popped up, it was actually a misquote, because in my mind it was morphine rather than opium. And I thought, you know, opiates, when I think of those opioids, I think more of addiction and numbing life more than I do morphine, which I think of in conjunction with things like Vietnam, because probably what made me do that switch from opioids to morphine was that I have sometimes, when I go to sleep, been listening to a book by a songwriter I know, and in it, one chapter talks about the song Sam Stone by John Prine. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with John Prine. He was an often humorous American country folk singer-songwriter who wrote, included in that humor, stuff of protest and social commentary. Artists like Bonnie Raitt and Bette Midler and Miranda Lambert and Amos Lee and Johnny Cash and a zillion other people recorded some of his songs. But this book was talking particularly about Sam Stone, and in Sam Stone is the line, "And the morphine eased the pain." The song is about somebody, a Vietnam veteran who's addicted and dies of an overdose. But when I think, like I was saying, about opioids, I think about numbing life rather than the pain, because I hear so much about the abuse of those. And morphine, I only really heard the stories about abuse, even though it's still, I'm sure, plenty prevalent, but in association with Vietnam and the veterans who not only came back with whatever injuries they had to try to navigate, but with a lot of PTSD. And so the addiction and the pain killing, you know, were morphine killing pain to me rather than numbing life. Not that it makes any sense, but that's the association I have, the differentiation in my mind. Morphine was also abused by Civil War veterans. Did you know that? And they called it soldier's disease. So the pain, whether mental or physical, that we go through needs to be addressed somehow, doesn't it? And so if Marx's statement is something other than just dismissal of religion, is it possible that the idea of religion is something that is truly meaningful as a way to identify, address, and maybe remedy some of the pain of this life? Now, the extended quote from Marx, or a little bit more extended, is, "Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, and if you think about some of the places that churches are the strongest, you can see where that has value, even if he meant it as a negative statement. The heart of the heartless world, I'm thinking a heartless world needs all the heart it can get. And the soul of soulless conditions. Aren't all these things we need? It's the opium of the people. That's where that little segment of quote finishes. So the religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of the heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It's the opium of the people. Restoring heart to the heartless world is important. Replacing soulless conditions with depth of life is important. Isn't it healthy and necessary sometimes to have ways to assuage our pain? I am not encouraging anyone here to go try to address these things in their lives with opioids or morphine. Pretty much everything I'm talking about today is metaphorical, so you can't blame it on me. Isn't it healthy and necessary sometimes to do what we can to face and figure out our pain? Not an escape, but identifying and addressing and correcting when possible the things that are painful. Marx also said the only antidote to mental suffering is physical pain. Do you believe that? The only thing that can make mental pain go away is physical pain? I think, there are all sorts of ways that connection can ease mental suffering and anguish. And I submit religion, the exercise and experience of connection, here there's some disagreement around the exact etymology of the word religion. One idea that we talk about here with some regularity is the idea of binding back, religare, and from that there might be a derivative of ligament. But binding back to yourself, your body, mind, and spirit, to that which is beyond you, to others, to that which is beyond that. Doing what we can to bind ourselves back to that, to create connections, is what I am comfortable calling religion. Now, another etymological branch would call it respect for what's sacred, conscientiousness, or a sense of right and moral obligation, from Latin religio, which is different than religare. Anyway, but that one carries you more to a monastic life where you're disconnected from what's around you, and I kind of like the other one better, don't you? Anyway. Binding back to our own bodies, minds, and spirits, binding to each other, connecting, to that which is greater. Now, I don't know how many of you may have a knee-jerk negative response to the word religion. I know that it's not unusual in our church to encounter people who do. But I want to invite you to reframe what the word means, because this is still a movement, a religious movement, if you will. Something endeavoring to bind us to one another, to the web of existence, and encouraging us to develop the means of addressing those painful things in ourselves and others in the world around us. If it's not in connection, then where do you look in impossible and painful circumstances? What do you do with that? Is it healthy? Where do you turn when the anxiety, tension, pain, frustration, and anger for what's going on around us becomes too great? Or around you in your own life? What are your most healthy and simultaneously effective coping skills and mechanisms for all of that? And isn't something beautifully connected, hopeful, consistent, endeavoring to be clear, transparent? Isn't all of that positive? A positive thing to have in light of unanswerable questions? If we're still doing our search, seeking to grow in understanding, seeking to grow in depth as beings, whatever that means, isn't that binding us to what's more? And isn't that religion? A way to tune up the universal music that is us, according to Pythagoras. We are music, whether we can hear it or not. Harmonize and resonate with what's vast and enduring, transcendent of each moment as it begins and extends beyond what we recognize. Maybe like Pythagoras thought, the universe is composed of numbers and music that purifies and nourishes our souls. Maybe not. But it's an interesting thought. I kind of like it. Something not exactly audible and palpable, but still recognizable. That's keeping us spiritually healthy. I wrote one song that I shared with y'all one time, or several times probably, called Lead Me. And it's not naming anything, but it's throwing open to the universe the idea that I want to be led by that which moves through life and propels us towards something rather than just a way. And it's in that spirit that I would like us to sing our closing hymns, Guide My Feet, and There Is More Love. We all have two religions, the religion we talk about and the religion we live. Whatever binds us to the next moment. The way that we approach things and the way that we choose to live may not be exactly the way we talk about those kind of topics. So there are those two things, and it is our task, to make the difference between those two things as small as possible. That's just growing, isn't it? May the distance between them shrink just a little bit this week. May we be mindful of healthy ways to address the pain that even watching the news brings us. And mindful of the pain of others and healthy ways to address that. I don't think pain is the only way that we find happiness, and I don't think religion has to be wiped from the earth for people to be happy, which is another idea Mark's had. I'm watching it go away in a lot of places, in a lot of ways, but I'm not seeing people happier. So maybe we can just endeavor to stay connected as we go in peace and carry our light with us. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. Namaste. So be it.
I'm not doing it alone, folks.